Alright, YouTube, the search for Secretary of State continues with the Trump-elect team. I will weigh in here with my personal feelings. Of course, when I spoke briefly about this before, Romney was not being considered. It was basically Bolton and Giuliani. Now, John Bolton would make a shitty Secretary of State. I think there's no question. Complete neocon, warhawk, Bushite. What would the point be of appointing? He's not qualified really for that position. You've got someone who's basically just a complete knucklehead who just wants to bomb everyone. He's supposed to conduct, major diplomacy. I don't think it'd be a good idea. Giuliani, I've spoken of, and I said Giuliani would be tolerable. There are better possibilities. You could have Jim Webb Secretary of State. That'd be just fine. It'd reach across the aisle, while at the same time I can't think of many Republicans that don't like the guy. You couldn't find a better pick than Jim Webb for Secretary of State. It's not like he doesn't have the qualifications for it. He's a competent individual. Mitt Romney, though, would probably be as shitty as Bolton. Maybe worse. I will admit one thing, though. There's now a tale that it's possible that the Trump team would force Mitt Romney to make a very public apology, sort of get down on bent knee to become Secretary of State, which he may or may not do even if offered such a situation. It would be very, very funny to see Mitt Romney tearfully talking about how he didn't really mean that he was an Oompa Loompa and all that stuff. It would be very amusing, but at the end of the day, Mitt Romney should not be the Secretary of State, neither should John Bolton. If either of these people are picked for that position, I will criticize Trump quite harshly for that. People on his team appear, though, here's the good part, people close to him appear to recognize the fact that somebody like John Bolton or Mitt Romney, it doesn't help you appease the Democrats, certainly. It doesn't have any independent draw, and it's going to piss off his core fans. The only people that would like him more for this would be the Bush family and people like that. Now, why would he care what they think? They spent the entire campaign campaigning for Hillary Clinton. It's a losing issue for Trump if he chooses Romney or Bolton for that position. Giuliani you can make a case for. His core fans don't care if Giuliani is chosen. It would be all right, because Giuliani was on the Trump train. If you choose somebody like Jim Webb, then I don't think there's a single block of people other than hard left Democrats that would dislike Jim Webb being the Secretary of State. I think it's the perfect position for him. I don't know if his name's been mentioned. That would be my advice to him. Choose Jim Webb for that position. He's a Democrat, or at least was, until very recently, now more of an independent. That way, the Democratic partisans, what the fuck are they going to do? Are they going to talk about how Jim Webb's a horrible person when he's been a Democrat all his life? I don't think so. Would the Republicans complain? Hell, there were people that said they would have voted for Webb over Trump, honestly, as Republicans. Myself, I said early on, yeah, Jim Webb seems like a good guy. He'd do pretty well. He's not a foreign policy hawk, but he's obviously pro-military. That's good. He doesn't seem to care about these social wedge issues. He was a sane Democrat, the last one in the party. Now he appears to have sort of severed ties with the party at large. Yeah, you could do, I can't think of anyone better suited to the position. There's that, maybe choose Mad Dog Mattis for Secretary of State. That'd be funny. There wouldn't be much diplomacy going on, though, let's face it. So, yeah, Bolton would be a no-go. Thankfully, I think there's very little chance he'd choose Bolton. Giuliani's tolerable. There's nothing particularly wrong with it, but it's not a knock out of the park hit either. As for Romney, somewhere between the two, it would be a pretty bad decision to put that kind of boring neocon, especially somebody who Trump very visibly sparred with. It's not like, oh, they jabbed each other a couple times. No, this is Mitt Romney, who gave a half-hour-long speech solely on the topic of how bad Donald Trump was. And you want to have to deal with him as Secretary of State reporting directly to you, to have to conduct diplomacy? What assurance would Trump have he wouldn't try to stab him in the back by doing a bad job just to crash his administration? I think that's honestly a risk some maverick candidate like Trump could run in such a situation. I would strongly advise Trump to steer away from Romney. Offer him the position as a joke, let him make his apology, and then choose Jim Webb or Giuliani instead. That would be my advice. Really put the screws to him. Really just totally cuck the bastard. And he deserves it. He's a fucking neocon, just like Obama, just like Bush, Clinton, all these other people on both sides of the so-called aisle. Screw Mitt Romney. Nobody takes him seriously. Nobody takes Mitt Romney seriously. Even members of his own party for the most part. That's about all. Peace out.